Welcome on the Evolve Fitness podcast. Today we have a friend of mine on the podcast to talk a bit about health issues with PEDs. So Nimrold, or Coach by Chris on Instagram, we met when I was on prep, and then he saw me during my different shows like Valahia Warriors, and we just talked from this point. And he's very knowledgeable. He wants to learn. He really wants to dig in when he doesn't understand. So it's just like a good person to be around, and I wanted to invite him on the podcast. So here we go. Just if I forgot something about general introduction about you, you can just tell it here.
First of all, I want to say hi to everybody, and thank you so much for the invitation and also for the nice words about me. Yes, today we're going to have a nice podcast about PEDs, issues, and I cannot say treatment, like modulation, management of smaller issues.
Yeah.
All right. So, in my opinion, one of the biggest problems with the usage of the PEDs is the misunderstanding of the compounds. So, a lot of users have no idea what they are using, how much they should use, when to introduce another compound, and how to select the next compound they are introducing in their cycle. Before you start, or before you think about to start using anything, the first thing you should do is pulling the lab works.
Yeah.
You should know which one are your base marks where you want to return everything after you will stop using PEDs.
Yeah, and many are not doing that.
90% of them.
Yeah, absolutely. I would say the same.
So if they ask them, all right, which one was your previous marks? They will have no idea because they never did it.
Yeah.
All right, so lab works. We want to use PEDs like testosterone, DHT derivatives, nandrolone derivatives, or anything else. Before that, we should know which one are our base marks, like how much is my natural testosterone, my natural estrogen, my prolactin levels, which can be elevated only from lifting weights. So you don't have to use anything to have elevated prolactin levels.
Yeah.
You should know where are your LH, FSH, thyroid hormones like T3, T4, reverse T3. After you have these labs, you have a start point. Then you can figure out, okay, you have to decide, I want to do this for a long time, like I'm going on TRT, and from there to escalate everything, or I just want to do this blast and PCT, which one I will never recommend to anybody.
Yeah.
All right, so we have the lab works, we have the base. Our start point always should be testosterone. Why? Because testosterone is bioidentical with our body.
Yeah, for sure.
Our body knows what to do with. So I don't want to go very, very deep inside, but just very simple. Testosterone is the base compound, is the sex hormone we have in our body. That's going to be aromatized by the aromatase enzyme into estrogen. Estrogen will bind to the estrogen receptor. Testosterone also will be 5-alpha reducted into DHT. DHT will be also binding to the
receptors.
Of course, yes. All right, so we have the base. Right now, how much should be the starting point? Between 100 milligrams and 200 milligrams of testosterone, this is considered TRT dose.
Yeah.
Which one will be established by the lab works. So once we have the base, we try to escalate, like step by step.
Yeah, not a lot at once.
Yes, like step by step. An escalation point should be like 50 milligrams at once. Because if you think about, all right, for start, you have 200 milligrams and you escalate 50 milligrams, that's a huge escalation.
For sure, yeah.
You're going to have so much to do with. You're going to have a lot of gains, of course, if your other things are perfectly okay.
Yeah.
Like your sleep hygiene, nutrition, training, recovery.
Everything.
All of this. But when we are talking about PED usage, these ones should be on point.
Yeah, it should, yeah.
But most of the times, they are not.
Yeah.
All right, but let's talk about the serious ones. So once you start to escalate like 50, 50, 50, once you will hit a point where you will need some estrogen modulation.
Yeah.
So right here, you're going to experience some estrogenic side effects. If you're going to have too much estrogen in your body, you will have experience like high blood pressure, water retention,
some nipple sensitivity.
Yes, gynecomastia, one of the most common.
Yeah.
All right. So right here, we have two options. You can use an AI, an aromatase inhibitor. Which one is not our first line strategy?
Yeah, because you can use something else.
Of course. So when you need estrogen modulation, the DHT derivatives are coming in the game.
Yeah.
Let's say you find your point where you cannot tolerate any more estrogen at 400 milligrams of testosterone. That's kind of the highest point. Most of the people found their point.
Yeah, usually, yeah.
Okay, so now you have to choose. You have to make a choice. I recommend to choose a DHT derivative. Like you have proviron, masteron, primobolan, anavar, not too much because it's an oral one, and oral ones should be preserved for the later stages of the prep when they absolutely need it or not.
Yeah.
So as a personal choice, I would go, if you're talking about off-season, for a primobolan.
If you can find some good one.
Yes, absolutely. Because primobolan is very, very often faked and it's so expensive.
Yeah.
So once you're not sure your primobolan is primobolan, you should go for the masteron.
Yeah, totally agree.
All right. How much to introduce masteron? What do you think? How much is the amount you will start with?
So I would start like, you can go from 1 to 2 for the ratio. Like for example, for testosterone 400 and 200 masteron, or you can go to 1 to 1 also.
As a first time user, before I will introduce anything as a secondary compound, I will pull the lab works again.
Oh yeah, for sure, yeah.
But why? Because I will know how much is that amount of estrogen that I cannot tolerate anymore.
Yeah, yeah.
And I will also know how much I react with that amount of testosterone. So I will know that 400 milligrams of testosterone will bring my testosterone levels until over 1000 nanograms.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So once we know that, we can go for the next step, masteron.
Yeah.
As a first step, I recommend just to go with 50 milligrams.
Okay, and see how it goes with your estrogen?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Just 50 milligrams. You're gonna see a lot of changes. Like estrogenic side effects will be diminished. You will have nice gains. Usually the DHT derivatives are not that anabolic.
No.
Especially proviron, which one is very, very pure anabolic, but is very, very high androgenic. So if you are an androgenic sensitive, you should consider, because high acne, hair loss can be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also above 50 milligrams can increase prolactin levels, which will induce gynecomastia. Can induce, not 100%.
Well, yeah, it will induce like more receptor synthesis, so that estrogen can bind more easily. So it will predispose a lot. It's like the main cause.
Yeah. Yes. So. But that's why I go usually for the masteron as a first step.
Yeah.
Once you can modulate the estrogen, you will modulate the prolactin. Because estrogen is the main driver for the gynecomastia and for prolactin elevation. So once we find that, we should not have any more estrogenic side effects. So this is the way we modulate our problems.
But like if 50 is not enough, what would be the next step?
Again, 50.
Okay, 50-50, okay.
50-50. Because again, if you think you have 400 milligrams of testosterone and you add 50, you have a 10% increase.
Yeah, for sure.
That's a good increase. And from there, if you go again with another 50, it's going to be a 20%.
Yeah.
So that's a good increase. You don't have to throw so much at once on a pot.
Yeah, just like the recommendation usually are between 1-2, 1-3 to 1-1 for the ratio.
Yes,
so
yes, of course, you can. You can, but as a first timer, they should go the smallest step.
Yeah.
So, as John Jewett used to say, take the most from the least. Before you reach the point that you cannot tolerate anymore the estrogenic side effects, there should be mounts. Yeah. So from the starting 200 milligrams, you should arrive to your highest dosage like maybe in 1 year or more than that.
Yeah. I think
so everybody should understand when to increase the dose. So when you push food and your body weight is increasing only body fat, and gym performance is not increasing anymore, that's the point to put another 50 milligrams of testosterone in the game.
Yeah.
So don't hurry up. Don't go like 2 weeks, 50, another 2 weeks, another 50. No, just step by step. As a first-time user, you should have a lot of gains with 200 milligrams of testosterone.
Absolutely.
A lot.
And also before increasing like too fast, maybe you should also check everything else. Like, is recovery on point?
Of course.
Like, maybe you can also increase food because food is anabolic,
of course.
you know?
Yes, absolutely. That's why I recommend, and I'm pretty sure you will agree with me, increase after every mesocycle.
Yeah, I would do the same.
Do a 6 to 8 week mesocycle. There review your performance.
Yeah.
How much your weights increased in the gym. How much your body weight increased. How is the mirror? How is your body fat? How is your sleep hygiene? Your supplementation? Your food intake? And from there, you can decide if you need to increase the dose or just to increase some food.
Yeah.
Or maybe you can introduce some supplements that they can increase your gym performance.
Such as?
So maybe you are not using creatine. Introducing a 10 gram of creatines absolutely can increase your gym performance.
I would say if you're deficient, because if you're already like saturated with your steroid.
Yeah, okay. I said if you're not using and never used before.
Well, like for example, for me, I just stopped taking creatine because I never had anything from it, even like with very high dose, like 10 gram, even more. because I think like I'm eating so much meat that I have enough creatine by itself. You know, my storage are full, and I haven't noticed any increase of performance, any like body weight increase, because you can have it if you have some water retention from it. I didn't, so.
All right, it means you and me, we are the same.
Okay.
Like I never had any performance increasement with creatine. Never.
But it can help people who like.
But
if they don't
all my athletes are reporting great improvements using the creatine.
Okay.
So maybe only you and me, we are some different a little bit.
I don't know. I heard some people also in this case, but like if they are not eating a lot of meat, if they are not eating a lot of proteins, or maybe like also genetics, you know, we have different genetics.
Yes,
way
absolutely,
of
absolutely.
storing things, like storing creatine and stuff. So
yes,
maybe we have full storage of creatine and maybe they don't, so they just have some
probably
benefits from it, but depends on the people for sure.
All right, so let's come back to ours. So everything is okay. We have the sleep hygiene, we have the nutrition, we have the recovery. Everything is okay. It's the point to increase 50 about. How long you go with that 50? Another mesocycle.
Yeah.
6 to 8 weeks. And I'm pretty sure that's gonna be enough to have nice improvements for the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, I still agree.
All right. So in our first year, we reached the point 400 milligrams. We are coming in with the masteron. We find the point we can modulate the estrogenic side effects. We don't have the gyno problems. We don't have water retention. Everything is perfectly fine. So why we don't use an AI instead of a DHT derivative?
Well, I would say, first of all, AIs are not anabolic. So, like, if you can use a DHT derivative, it's anabolic and anti-estrogenic. So it's like double benefits. And also depends on the AI, but some are irreversible. So it will just like stuck to the enzyme and it won't go away from the enzyme. So it will stay there all the time. Like it's irreversible. So it's not
something absolutely. You should do. Absolutely. So the main problem with the usage of the AI is the oversuppression of the estrogens.
Yeah.
So why we don't want to do that? So estrogen, it's protective. It's brain protective, cardioprotective, has a main role in erectile function, libido.
Oh yeah, for sure.
All of this mass.
Yeah.
And also in the muscle mass.
Oh yeah, it's anabolic.
Estrogen, it's anabolic.
Yeah.
So when it's coming about muscles, everybody's thinking about testosterone, testosterone, testosterone. All right, what's going to happen with your estrogen? So if they don't understand what we were talking about at the very beginning, that what actually the testosterone is making in our body, it aromatized, it's 5-alpha reducted, they're not going to understand this. So we don't want to absolutely crash our estrogen levels.
Yeah, for sure.
Because we're going to experience erectile dysfunction. So we don't want that. We want to have sex drive. There will be some fat storage. So depression, forgetfulness, a lot of low estrogenic side effects. So abusing these things can lead to a lot of issues.
Yeah.
That's why we go for the DHT derivatives, which will annihilate a couple of estrogenic side effects, but they won't crash our estrogen levels, which is absolutely needed to gain muscle.
Yeah, it's not irreversible. Like when you stop DHT, like the effect, like anti-estrogenic effect is just going away.
Yes.
And it's anabolic too, so it's a plus. It's a big plus.
Yes. So we can talk, if we are talking about the AIs, we can talk about two different types of AIs. So there are the non-steroidal and aromatase inhibitors, like arimidex or letrozole, they are pretty the same. So they will just block the enzyme until you use the compound. Once you stop using the compound, they will release the aromatase enzyme, and you're going to have like an estrogenic rebound effect. There is another one, which one is a steroidal suicidal inhibitor, like the exemestane or aromazine, which one will absolutely deactivate the enzyme. So you won't face this rebound effect, but we don't want to use AIs until the point where is absolutely necessary. So estrogen effects on the muscle mass. So estrogen increase the glucose 6-phosphatase dehydrogenase in skeletal muscle. So the G6PD increased post-exercise to enhance the glucose uptake and the recovery. Why we will kill it?
Yeah, it's super important.
Don't kill your gains. Okay? So using AI, you will crash the estrogen levels. You will absolutely kill the estrogenic protective role. You will face more problems than living with the high estrogen.
So let's just recap a bit about estrogen. Like if you are using PEDs, testosterone, you will have higher estrogen. Higher estrogen side effects like health issues you can have with higher estrogen is mostly like gynecomastia, erectile disorders, like what can you have else with high estrogen?
Elevated blood pressure, night sweats.
This one too,
high libido with erectile dysfunction.
Erectile dysfunction occurs all the time, like high or low.
Yes.
So like this is high estrogen, and then you have to manage it to lower it down. But if you lower it too much, you also have other health issues.
Yes. So there is a sweet spot to find it.
Yeah.
So this sweet spot is very difficult to find using AIs. So that's where the DHT derivatives are coming in the game.
Yeah.
Because there you can use with little by little adding in until you face like an anabolic effect and a lowering estrogen until the point you can go with it. So it's not causing problem anymore. So once your testosterone level is super physiological, your estrogen should be as well.
Yeah.
They has to be in a balance. So you cannot have sky high testosterone and no estrogen. You have to keep them in a balance.
Yeah.
That's how our body is working. If this balance is not the best, so you have high estrogen, low testosterone, problems. If in the reverse, still problems. So we have to keep the balance.
And for the range of estrogen, what would you want for the concentration of estrogen? Like
from 20 to 55 picogram per deciliter.
Okay.
All right here, you can have an elevation like 10%. And we are very different. So some of us are very estrogen sensitive, other ones are not. So if for me, it's perfectly fine to be on like 100.
Yeah, okay.
For other ones, the 60 may be too much.
Okay.
So that's why we are not the same. All right, so the DHT is an antagonist of the estrogen receptors, binding to the gene's response element to offset the androgenic to estrogen ratio. So once testosterone is converted into DHT via the 5-alpha reductase, is 3-4 times as potent as the testosterone.
Yeah.
Okay? So DHT is very anabolic, very androgenic, and very low anabolic.
Yeah.
Why? Because in the skeletal muscle, we have an enzyme called 3-hydroxysteroid dehydrogenase. And this is limiting the DHT by breaking down into a very, very weak androgen. So the DHT has a lot of benefits. So via DHTs, we can manage estrogen problems. It's a very, very strong role in organization and function of the nervous system. The neuromuscular system has a primary importance for contraction of the skeletal muscle. So if we don't have the contractions, won't be that hard. We won't increase in strength. So that's why a lot of athletes are going for DHT derivatives in the strength sports.
Yeah.
Like it's coming with a lot of strength, but not the size.
Yeah, like another idea of prep to have some more
Yes,
strength.
absolutely. Absolutely. And also the masteron.
Yeah.
The masteron is very often used in strength sports like powerlifting or...
But also like DHT, as you said, it's very androgenic. So it can
Yes.
bind to other tissues such as prostate. So you can have prostate enlargement.
Yes.
Also hair loss a lot. Depends on your genetics
Yes.
and your predisposition. But can induce hair loss and acne.
Yes. What is the problem? Because I hear so often about using DHT blockers, like finasteride, dutasteride.
Yeah.
We really don't need to use it. The 5-AR inhibitors, like finasteride, dutasteride, are increasing erectile dysfunctions, which can be a problem.
It is.
Yeah, they will lower the libido. They will decrease the fat-free mass gain. So once you block the DHT, you won't have the gains you want.
Yeah.
DHT is also an antagonist of the estrogen receptors, so element to offset the androgenic to estrogen ratio.
So like you would say we shouldn't try to decrease DHT with finasteride, for example, and we just like get with it. Like for example, if you take PEDs, you have to know that you can have acne problems, hair loss problem, things like that.
Yes.
You have to be aware.
Absolutely. You have to deal with it.
If you don't have acne, lucky you. If you do, you have to treat acne, but you shouldn't try to decrease DHT.
So estrogen and androgen, they are working like in a reverse. If one of them is raising something, the other one will be lowering. Like, let's talk about the acne. So androgenic will bring the sebum level up.
Yeah.
Higher sebum level, higher acne potential. The estrogen will bring it down. So that's why we don't want to mess to lower down to increase the other one so high. So keep it in balance. Or the breast tissue. Estrogen will increase growth activity of the breast tissue, gynecomastia. Androgen ones will decrease it.
Yeah.
So there need to be a balance between them.
For sure.
If you are very, very sensitive, you should consider it. Like, okay, I'm very sensitive on androgens. I'm not going to use provider. I'm going for another one. I'm going for the masteron, for the primo, or maybe another. So with these compounds, you can go very, very far.
For sure.
Like masteron, you can go from 100 until 1500 milligrams.
Yeah.
Which is a huge dose.
It is.
A huge one. So you have so much time. You have so much to do with. Like, I don't have any athletes at this moment who was going for more than 400 milligrams of masteron.
Okay. Yeah.
So from 400 until 1500, there's a huge range.
Yeah.
A huge range. Right. So a little bit of difference between primobolan and masteron.
Yeah, good.
They are
topic.
pretty the same, 99% the same. The primobolan has a little bit slighter impact on lowering the estrogen,
Yeah.
but a little bit. And the masteron, but the primobolan compared to masteron has a higher potential to build muscle. That's the only difference. Personally, I prefer to go with the primobolan in the off season for the building capacity.
Yeah.
And also to start the first phase of the prep with the same primobolan. And when I need more estrogen modulation, I will switch to masteron.
Yeah, because like for masteron, I heard like the molecule is more like flexible, so it can just go better with the enzyme and block it better for anti-estrogenic effects.
Yes.
For the receptor, for the estrogen receptor.
Yeah.
But like primo is more, I would say, stable as a molecule, and it doesn't really go well with the receptor. So this is why it's more limited for the anti-estrogenic effects.
Yes, that's exactly how you say it.
Because primo is more refined, so a bit less
estrogenic
effects.
Yeah, both of them are non-aromatizing compounds.
Yeah.
So they should not cause any problems. Both of them compete with the sex hormone binding globulin. So they have a higher affinity to bind than DHT. They will increase the free testosterone, will bring gains. They can potentiate other androgens affected by the 5-alpha reductase. They are not 17-alpha alkylate, so no liver toxicity.
Yeah.
And this is so interesting because Anavar is a 17-alpha alkylate, also from the family of the DHT derivatives, but has a mild liver toxicity. So is the oral one, which one is the best? Because compared with the Winstrol,
it's bad.
I think we cannot compare them.
Yeah.
Because Anavar is something to use sometimes, and Winstrol is definitely something to use only if it's absolutely needed.
Yeah,
so it's a situational use.
Yeah, short period too.
For a very, very short period. All right. So even the primobolan higher dosage can alter a little bit the lipid profile. But you have to go very, very high.
Yeah.
I don't think I want to say any more about the primo or masteron. They were both used in clinical usage.
Yeah.
So, and this is important. We should always go for compounds that were used or they are still used in clinical usage. So something that was approved for human use.
Yeah. So they have a lot of data about it.
Yes. So we have data, we have studies about it. We have experience with it. So we know what to expect from that.
Yeah.
That's why, for me, it's absolutely unacceptable to use boldenone.
Yeah.
Was never approved for human use.
But even trenbolone,
yes.
It wasn't approved. It's a veterinary drug.
It was not approved, but at least with trenbolone, there was some studies. Not too many, but there was some studies. And also the trenbolone is a situational use drug.
Yeah, but many people are using it for very long time periods.
But you know why? Because the old school said trenbolone is 5 times more anabolic than testosterone.
Which is that?
Which is absolutely not. We are not taking trenbolone for the anabolic profile.
Yeah.
So All right, let's talk about trenbolone a bit later.
Okay.
Because there are a lot to say about.
For sure.
So let's stick to our DHT derivatives. So these compounds should not cause any health issues.
Yeah.
We should be fine with that. If our testosterone base is okay, they should never be used without test base.
Oh, no, for sure, yeah.
Because they are suppressive. They will suppress your own testosterone production.
Yeah.
You won't have the testosterone, which should be aromatized into estrogen, low estrogen levels, because the problems.
Yeah.
Okay, so test base is number one. Which can be another health issue with using these friendly PEDs are the liver toxicity. So they are not so liver toxic. Not the primo, not the masteron.
No.
So you have to be very, very sensitive to experience some kind of problems.
Yeah, I would say injectable as a whole is not really liver toxic because it, okay,
The
a part of
only-
it goes to the liver, but not everything.
Yes, the only injectable which one is very, very liver toxic is the Winstrol.
Yeah. But except
It's the
this
only one.
Yeah.
So once it's not an oral, it's not liver toxic. It's very rare to be
Yeah.
liver toxic. Let's talk about the cardiovascular problems. So there are the compounds which one will decrease the levels of the HDL, and they can increase the LDL.
Yeah.
So they can lead to. So here we have to be very, very prudent to find the compounds that won't do that. So if I want to avoid these problems, I'm not going to use Anavar.
Yeah.
Why? Because 20 milligrams a day, which is, as I can say, is a minimal dose, because most of the people are using much more than 20 milligrams.
Yeah.
It's more than enough to decrease 30% the HDL levels.
Yeah.
So 30% reduction on the HDL can cause problems.
Yeah.
Anavar is mildly suppressive. So before 20 milligrams, usually it's not causing any suppression of testosterone. But over it will. So like 40 milligrams a day will cause like 40-50% of decrease in endogenous testosterone.
So then do you have to increase your testosterone dose to compensate?
Yes. No.
No.
If you have a testosterone base,
Yeah, if you have a testosterone base,
it's not a problem to use it.
it's not decreasing this, like it's
From
not,
this point of view, no.
okay.
Once we have testosterone base, this, if it's suppressive, if not, we are thinking about only if we are planning to go off cycle.
Okay.
So like going for a PCT.
Okay.
So if you are not going for a PCT, if you are staying on a TRT, it doesn't matter.
Okay.
Okay. So this suppressivity is only matters if you want to go out. So other drugs that will decrease your HDL are nandrolone.
Yeah, I would say nandrolone has the most like impact on blood lipids.
Yes.
And do you see a difference between like NPP, so nandrolone propionate, and deca? So
There is
decanoate?
only one difference. So MPP is much more manageable. Like if you experience problems, it's a shorter
Yes.
ester, so you can just remove much faster than the decanoate.
Okay.
So the decanoate is like has a half-life of 7 to 11 days.
Yeah.
If you go for a phenylpropionate, that's going from 5 to 9 days.
Okay.
That's the only difference.
But no impact on blood lipids between one and the other?
No, absolutely. It's nandrolone at the end of the day. We just have the ester attached to.
Yeah, okay.
As a first step, I will always say go for the phenylpropionate.
Okay.
Exactly for this reason. if you experience problems, you cannot tolerate it, it takes a bit shorter time to clear it out.
Yeah. You can cut it off and
Yeah.
it's fine.
So other problems that we can have with the PEDs, so we talked about the cardiovascular problems. So HDL, LDL.
So increased LDL like predisposed to atherosclerosis. So deposition of lipids in your like vessels, blood vessels.
Yes. And if your HDL is decreased, there is a risk for a heart attack or...
Yeah.
Okay. Renal toxicity. It's not that present.
Yeah.
If you don't use the boldenone or the trembolone also, in some individuals, not for everybody. Some can tolerate very well, others won't. But the boldenone is the most renal toxic drug ever.
For sure. Yeah. And increased hematocrit too, also, which can be linked to renal toxicity.
Yes. So we have covered... Oh yeah, nandrolone, problems with the aldosterone. That's an interesting one to talk about.
This one you know it well.
It's a love it and hate it system.
But at least you know more about it because you did a lot of research.
Yes.
So you can talk about it like very deeply.
So my relationship with the aldosterone system is a hate it, love it. So nandrolone has a huge impact on the aldosterone system. And this is because nandrolone has a direct impact on the aldosterone by increasing sodium retention, which will cause a renin increasing. That's causing angiotensin 2 increasing. And angiotensin 2 will activate the aldosterone system.
Yeah.
And we don't want to do that.
For sure.
Because aldosterone will cause problems like water retention.
Yeah, because aldosterone, it like goes in the kidney, it fixes to the receptor, and it reabsorbs sodium from the urine. So
yes.
You
I used to say a kidney is so stupid. Yeah, he has only one action. So if kidney has problems, he will activate this RAAS system. So the renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system.
Yeah.
And this system will fix everything. Okay?
Yeah.
So what we can do to don't experience this kind of side effects is use on an ARB. It's an angiotensin receptor blocker, like telmisartan.
Yeah, the best ones.
Yes. You can also use the losartan, but this one has a shorter half-life, so you have to take it like more often.
Yeah, every 12 hours, I think.
About 9, 12 hours.
Yeah.
So telmisartan is about 28 hours.
Yeah, so once a day.
So take it once a day is perfectly fine. Usually, telmisartan is the number one, which I choose for every athlete.
Yeah.
It's a must-have on the table.
All the time.
All the time.
Every day, all the time.
So it doesn't matter if you are talking about off-season, contest prep. In contest prep, in the later phases, we also increase the dosage.
Yeah, to have more water retention management.
Yes. We don't go sky high. Like usually we take 40 milligrams. Like in later phases, we can elevate maybe 80, but usually only 60.
Yeah.
And usually it's more than enough.
Yeah, it should. If you have more issues, it's maybe more like because of elevated estrogen causing water retention.
Yes, and this is the point where you can go for other compounds, which one has a very, very good, like drying out effects. So which are the drugs with the drying out effects? Which ones are not aromatizing? Maybe they have action on the glucocorticoid receptors, like trembolone, one of the best. Winstrol.
Yeah.
That's why we call them situational use. So you cannot go with them year round.
Yeah, for sure.
But you should have you shouldn't have any problem with using masteron and testosterone year round.
Yeah.
Brain toxicity.
Important one. With
Yes.
nandrolone.
Nandrolone. Absolutely, nandrolone is the most neurotoxic drug you can take ever.
Yeah.
So
yeah, people are still using DECA all the time.
Yes, because of the bro science.
Yeah, because it's good for the joints.
Of course, okay, you can use 100 milligram a week, won't cause any problems to you. It won't kill your brain, won't kill your liver or progesterone or anything. So if you want to take it for the joint, that's how I used to use it in the very, very rare cases when we use it. If you have an athlete with a very, very high body weight, like super heavy weights, they are using very, very high weights. So very heavy loading on the joints.
Yeah.
Yes, you can give them 1 to 200 milligram, but the maximum per week to mitigate these joint problems.
Yeah.
Because how that is working, it will keep a little bit of water in the joints.
Yeah.
And that's it. Nothing else.
Yeah, it just helps with lubrication of the joints.
Yes. Why the nandrolone is so neurotoxic? Nandrolone will block the clearance of the plaques from the brain. So we have some plaques they are putting in the brain and they are clearing from there. Nandrolone will block this cleaning process.
So it accumulates.
Yes. If you have any questions, you can tell me. I'm looking for some data.
So we talked about like liver enzymes. Also, maybe we can just talk a bit more about liver toxicity, because it happens mostly with orals, because orals are metabolized in the liver first and then end up in the circulation, like contrary to injectable, because injectable, it goes directly in the circulation. So a little part of the blood is going to the liver, but most of it is just everywhere systemically. So it's mostly orals that are causing some liver issues.
Yes.
But also, like, liver can be very easily stressed. So I wouldn't like freak out if liver enzymes are a bit elevated, because it can be a bit elevated for almost every kind of stress, you know. But like if it's double the upper limit, for sure you have to be careful and to find the cause and stop, because it can cause some damages.
On the liver marks, we have to check the GGT, because this one is the most specific for the liver. The other ones, like the TGP,
ALT, ALP,
yes,
AST.
You can find also in the skeletal muscle.
Oh, you have it everywhere. Everywhere.
So they are not that specific like the GGT. So if your GGT level is sky high, there can be some problem.
For sure.
So you have to be careful there. So that's why people are so many times scared about liver, because they say their TGP a little bit increased. That's not a problem.
Yeah.
That can be increased because your last meal was a little bit greasy, you had a bit of fat over there, or you drink a glass of wine.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So that's not the liver mark we want to care about. Of course, we will check it.
Yeah.
But it's not the primary one.
Or if it's like twice, like the upper limit, or 3 times the upper limit, then you know something is not okay.
Yes.
You have to check more.
And that's why it's important to go as you can all the time to the same lab.
Yeah, so you can compare.
Every lab can use different marks. And you go here, you have some marks, you go to another lab, and over there, if you compare your labs, you can have elevated levels.
Yeah.
So that's important. Go to the same lab.
Absolutely.
Because most of the labs, they keep your data, and when you pull the lab work, you're going to see your previous one on a paper. So my previous was X. Actual one is also X. I'm fine. So I find what I wanted to tell you.
Good.
So with nandrolone, it's a significant increase in neuronal death in nandrolone versus testosterone, and also the risk for the neurodegenerative disease is increased. And this is a milligram per milligram basis study.
Okay, yeah.
So 200 milligram of nandrolone is more toxic than 200 milligrams of testosterone. And we talk strictly about brain.
So to use like sparingly and be careful with it.
Yes, and try to limit a little bit.
Yeah.
Because it's not only about brain, liver. Nandrolone is one of the compounds that induce gynecomastia the more often. Because can directly affect the prolactin levels, the progesterone levels, which will produce effects like estrogenic effects. So you will be a little bit between, you won't know which one is your problem. That's when you have to face like gyno problems, pull the lab works, see the estrogen, see the IGF-1, see the testosterone, see the prolactin, and from there, you're going to know the root of the issue so you can solve it.
Yeah.
Most of the time, estrogen is the one. So nandrolone is affecting progesterone. Progesterone will have effects like estrogen. Application in bodybuilding, as you said, for joint pain.
Yeah, usually.
Yes, can increase the anabolic profile of the stack. But I think we have better tools to use it.
Like DHT derivatives.
Yes. And my personal opinion, before I would go for nandrolone, I would rather go for using a GH.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. But
So GH or insulin usage for me are before nandrolone.
yeah, but I would even put it like at the same time as DHT. Like you can start to introduce GH from the beginning too, because it's like more like an ancillary, it's on the side, it helps to have better effects with the stack, but it's not like it's not directly anabolic, it's not like PEDs or AAAs,
No.
It's a bit like...
No, GH is not directly anabolic.
Yeah.
GH has to go through the GH to IGF axis. So IGF-1 which is the anabolic. So that's why we also have, it's not that common in the usage, the IGF-1 peptide, which one can be used directly in the skeleton, in the muscle, where you have like problematic muscles. Like if you have your chest, you can just inject directly there, and anecdotally, you can improve that area.
Okay.
So it's not the GH is the one. The GH is going to be broken down in IGF-1.
Yeah.
And also GH can have a very, very good effect like on recovery, connective tissue.
Also, it increases the amount of testosterone receptors.
Yes.
You have more receptors, so testosterone can bind to it. So it's just synergistic with testosterone. It increases the effects.
Of course. And it's very, very well pairs with testosterone, GH, and trembolone.
Yeah.
And also the clenbuterol is coming to complete the framework.
Yeah, and it also like mobilizes satellite cells, so you can have some hyperplasia, so increased number of muscle cells.
Absolutely. So for me, it's absolutely it's a compound I would throw in the game before nandrolone.
Yeah, for sure.
The only problem with the GH that can cause insulin resistance.
Yes, I wanted to say that too.
Yeah, but there are some studies that showed if you don't overuse it, you won't face these problems.
Okay.
Usually, like 3 units a day is the limit.
Yeah.
So if you go over that, yes, you can experience the insulin resistance side effect. But there are some ancillary drugs we can drop on the table to overcome this insulin resistance.
Yeah.
Like here is the metformin is coming, or other supplements which can improve the glucose uptake. But once you have the trenbolone in the game, insulin resistance won't be a problem anymore, because trenbolone will increase glucose uptake.
Yeah, but in off-season, would you use trenbolone?
No.
So in this case, in off-season, for example, okay, you
in off-season go for the metformin.
Okay, but if it's not enough, then you go for insulin?
Yes.
I think so. I think the next step.
And we don't have to think about insulin like the bad guy. I would use insulin when I feel that I'm struggling producing enough endogenous insulin. Like when you go over, let's say, 700 grams of carbs, that's a lot of stress for your body to produce that amount of insulin.
For sure.
To regulate your blood glucose.
Yeah.
Okay, so I don't want to kill my beta cells. I don't want to put that amount of stress on them to produce. I want to preserve them for later. Let's say I'm 30 years old. I'm going into a deep off season, increasing the food. I don't want to kill my beta cells.
Yeah.
So I will introduce, as a first step, the lentils, so the slow-acting insulin, and also some fast-acting insulin right before my post-workout meal, as a first step. I'm not going inside of numbers right here, units to use. It's a bit more complicated, so it's not absolutely not for first cycle.
For sure, yeah.
So no. But yes, insulin can be something to prevent these problems. But as a first step, metformin is to go for.
I agree.
Metformin, usually we want to go over 1,000 milligrams.
Yeah.
So that's the upper range.
Yeah.
Usually we start with 250, 500 and taper up as needed, but don't go over.
Yeah, you can have some issues.
If it's not enough and you don't want to go for insulin usage, go for the berberine.
Yeah, it's a bit less potent, but it works.
Yes, it's a bit less potent, but you can taper up like 2,000 milligrams.
Yeah.
And that can definitely help.
For sure, yeah.
I know in a deep off season, usually it's not a tool to lower the dosage, to lower the food, but I think that can be the moment to go for a mini cut.
When you start to have insulin resistance?
When you start to have serious problems. Not like you're moving out from the range like 10 to 15%. Go for a mini cut. What's going to happen? You will drop some weight. You will drop some body fat. You will become more insulin sensitive.
Yeah.
Once your insulin sensitivity is increased, you can push again on the food. So you will experience this rebound effect when you start to push food again. But you push on the food while you're insulin sensitive.
Yeah.
So your glucose uptake will be improved.
For sure, yeah.
You will take up all the nutrients and you won't storage as fat. Your recovery will be much better. You will feel energetic. And from there, you can push again until you reach the point you have to drop back a little bit.
Yeah.
So this is not like a linear to go. Bodybuilding is not about only going up.
Yeah,
up.
for sure. You cannot do that.
So there are points to do a mini cut or just a hold phase for 2 weeks or a deload if it's about training. So we have to think about everything a bit.
Yeah.
We cannot just go with full gas all the time.
Yeah, because like our body has a limit too. Like
Yes.
you cannot just go ham with everything for a long time.
You can, but for how much? For how long?
Yeah, for sure. You'll have health issues very fast.
Yeah. And as John used to say, we are thinking about the next 20 years, not 20 weeks.
Yeah, which is a good point because you have to think about all of these health issues which can occur. And
Yes.
also like in time, you can also have issues with fertility, for example, because of your
Of course.
testosterone and everything. So also you have to think about that before starting everything.
Yes, absolutely. That's why you have to decide you are going on a TRT or a blast PCT.
But what would be the best for fertility?
And that's a hard one to say.
Yeah, I know this way asking the question.
There are some protocols, I say, like using HCG during a cycle.
Yeah, I heard about something like that.
So
but
during a cycle, they say because to keep up the testosterone production during you are suppressed. But for me, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
Like your left foot is on the brake and your right one on the gas.
Absolutely. And if you have like very high exogenous testosterone at one point, HCG won't be enough, to
Yes.
pick it up. You'll be over suppressed.
Yeah, so this doesn't make any sense for me.
Yeah.
Proviron is the drug that was used for infertility in clinical usage, like 75 milligram a day. So, in my opinion, it's better to don't do this switch off, switch on. Stay on a TRT. When you decide you want children's, go off.
Yeah, totally off. You cut everything.
You cut everything. Not because you cannot be fertile during a cycle, because you can.
Yeah, you can.
I know a lot of bodybuilders.
Yeah.
But go off, totally off. But here is coming a question. To do or not to do a PCT?
Yeah. It's a question for sure.
Yes, because so many people are doing this old school bro science. I want to go off. What I'm going to do? Yesterday, I had my last injection, so 2 weeks after, I will start a PCT. Don't. You have to consider about the ester you used.
Yeah, it can stay super long.
Yes.
In your system.
So once you used nandrolone, my favorite one, your testosterone will be suppressed for over 20 weeks.
Yeah. It's a long time.
So, yeah. So why you should use a PCT 2 weeks after?
Yeah, it makes no sense.
There is absolutely no sense. I say, if you are a healthy one, coming off, your body is perfectly capable to recovery without any PCT.
Okay, even without HCG?
Absolutely.
Okay.
So what the HCG is doing?
It will boost the Leydig cells to produce testosterone.
It will mimic the effect of LH
Yeah.
to say to the testes to produce.
Yeah.
Okay, so there is a study, 2021, the Harlem study. It's about 100 bodybuilders using 99% the same amount of AAS for the same period, 18, respectively 20 weeks.
Okay.
So they have the test levels before the cycle, during the cycle, and 3 months after.
Okay.
A part of them did a PCT. They recovered like 90% compared to the previous value. And the group without a PCT has an increase of 10%
Okay.
compared. So without
even
PCT, they recovered better than with PCT.
Okay. Interesting.
Yes.
Okay.
So sometimes it's better to don't. But there are cases when it's a must. So what is my recommendation? Pull the lab works after the full clearance of the substances. So what you used, like you have testosterone enanthate, nothing else.
Okay.
So the half-life of the enanthate ester is 5 to 10 days.
Yeah.
Always calculate with a higher number.
Yeah, to be sure.
Yes, to be sure. So total clearance can take up 5 times the half-life. So if you have 5 to 10 days, you have to calculate with 50 days.
Yeah.
Wait 50 days after your last injection, pull the labs, see your results. You may be perfectly recovered in 50 days.
Yeah.
If not, then you should consider to start a PCT.
Okay.
Here are some, I cannot name them problems, but different protocols of PCT.
Yeah, there are many.
You should use HCG with an AI, with a SERM like tamoxifen, or you should use only one of them.
Yeah, I heard something like 2 weeks with HCG and then 2 weeks with an AI, like Arimidex and something like that. Like it was like 2 weeks or 2 weeks with something else.
So, if you use like tamoxifen, which was very common in the PCT cycles, what's going to happen? So you will totally shut down the estrogen level.
Yeah.
Via the pituitary gland. You will give a signal to the LH. So they should produce to signal the testes to produce testosterone, which one is going to be aromatized into estrogen.
Yeah.
So that's a negative feedback. So you block it to make the LH to work, to make the testes to work,
Yeah.
to produce testosterone.
Yeah.
That's one. A couple of weeks ago, somebody sent me a PCT protocol from an IFBB Pro coach.
Okay.
I immediately recognized from who is coming.
Okay.
So I was thinking about, okay, where is the logic in this PCT protocol? Like the guy was running on sustanon and nandrolone. So classic one. And the protocol was like, first 2 weeks to go with testosterone propionate with HCG.
Why?
And I was like, okay, so you are taking testosterone propionate, a fast-acting one, but you're also taking HCG while the sustanon, which is a 4-compound testosterone,
Yeah, still present.
with one of the 4 is a very, very long-acting, the andecanoate. It's still active in your organism.
Yeah.
So you're going to have 3 types of inputs in your system. How you want to recover like this?
Especially with test prop, like it will still suppress your endogenous production.
Yes.
So
And this one is coming from IFBB Pro coach.
yeah.
So someone being an IFBB Pro or a pro coach, it doesn't mean he knows what's going on.
That's for sure. That's a fact.
With this ones.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to give the name right now, but I was shocked weeks ago when I heard that a very, very famous pro said that he was changing the parabolon with trembolone for the last couple of weeks of the prep. And I was like, hell, you just changed trembolone with trembolone. So if you, famous IFBB Pro, don't know what's the difference between, there are some problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So come back to our ones. So health issues like fertility, I say is the better one to stay on a TRT.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can just, like, if you want a kid, you stop TRT for a few
Yes.
weeks. Sorry, you get a kid and then you stop.
Or
back.
yes, or even you can stay on a TRT, like not using anything aside,
Yeah.
just the testosterone base.
Yeah, but I heard like if you stay on TRT, it just decreases a bit sperm quality.
Yeah, but there is a clinical dosage of proviron, which one can increase it. So,
Okay. Yeah.
but for this one, I think you should go to like a fertility clinic to test your sperm to see if
Yeah,
it's okay,
yeah.
if it's not okay. If it's not, to do the steps
To get it back at a good
to get it back.
point, and then you.
So that's not something you cannot restore it. So I say it's absolutely not something that you cannot restore it.
And also something you can do is like you just freeze your semen before going ham with PEDs. So you can do that too. Like technology is great right now. So
Yeah.
if you want kid
Yes.
in the future, and I don't know, you want to pursue your bodybuilding career and you are an IFBB pro, maybe you can just be sure you can have kids by just freezing your semen.
Yeah, of course. That's an option
It's
also.
also an option, yeah.
But let's be serious. Bodybuilders like Olympia level, they are able to have kids.
Yeah, true. Brandon Curry.
And I'm 100% telling you, they are not going on PCD.
Yeah, I don't
So
think
they
so.
are doing
Yeah.
the TRT
Yeah,
year round.
yeah.
So if they can have kids, somebody with maybe 10% of the dosage they use it
Can
will
have
definitely
kids.
have.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's not gonna be a problem. I cannot see it. Okay, there are some exceptions.
Yeah, yeah.
We say we're not gonna talk about females, but I have to mention something here.
For sure.
These things in female, it's more different.
Yeah, because I would say for guys, PEDs are going to cause more health issues. For females, it's most like aesthetic issues, like virilization first.
Yeah, virilization first, and becoming to the child.
Yeah,
you
also
you
for
can
sure,
experience some problems
Oh,
with
yeah.
getting pregnant.
Yeah. Oh yeah, for sure.
So that's the difference. That's why when it's about cycle design, men's and females are absolutely different.
Yeah,
So totally the opposite.
yeah, yeah,
So if for the men's, testosterone is the base, for the females, I'm not going as a first one.
Well, TRT if you need it.
Okay, TRT.
If you need it.
That if you need it. If your androgen levels are very, very low.
Yeah.
That's perfectly fine.
And it's usually the case for females, especially with birth control. It's usually the case to have low testosterone.
Yeah. So females are a little bit different when it's about PEDs.
Yeah, a lot.
100%.
A lot different. Yeah. But I would not say like health issues are not really a thing if you do it well and you're careful with what you use and dosage and stuff.
Oh, absolutely.
Like, you cannot, like, maybe women's physique or like women's
women's physique and women's bodybuilding.
It will be closer to guys, so they can have more health issues. But for other females with like moderate, I would say, use of PED, I would say it's mostly virilization, like acne, deepening of the voice, clitoral enlargement.
Yes.
Hair loss can occur too with GHT.
And these are the most common problems when it's about females. I wanted to tell about something which is not an AAS or a PED, but which is causing the most of the problems when it's about competitive bodybuilding, the diuretics.
Oh, yeah.
So that's where most of the problems are coming in the last days of the preps.
It can
or before stage, or... Yes. So diuretics are the one, if you fucked up, you may not have the chance to correct it.
Yeah. It can be very bad.
Yes.
Like, and people fuck it up so often. And water is like 70% of your body. So if you fuck it up, you can end at the hospital or you can just die in your hotel room before your show.
Yes, absolutely. I think last time we were talking, I told you about the guy with the 80 milligrams of furosemide.
Oh.
Yeah. So he was not drinking water for 2 days, 48 hours.
Oh, yeah, you told me. Yeah, backstage he was like bad.
He was like dying. It was like, man.
I bet. It's crazy.
And I so often hear females, like bikini athletes, with 40, 50, 60 milligrams of furosemide. For what?
For what? Especially
for the name of the god. For what?
Yeah. You can be shredded without any diuretics.
Absolutely. So I'm a little bit glad to hear so often, even at IFBB Pro level, because they are not using.
Yeah.
Or if they do a minimal one.
Yeah. Because after all the death, like last year, I think like now IFBB pros like to say out loud that they are not using it to prevent other mistakes like that and other death.
Yeah, and there some problem can just show up. Like if you overdo it, you can look like flat as a pancake.
Oh yeah. Or you can have some more water retention if you have a rebound.
Absolutely. So there is a very, very slight limit between doing it perfectly or ruining it up.
Yeah, it's playing with fire with diuretics.
Yes, absolutely. That's why it's something to use only if you're 100% sure what you are doing. Don't overdo it. You must know the amount it's working for you.
Yeah. And use like mild ones.
Yeah.
Like don't go for thiazide or thing like that. Go for spironolactone, for example.
Yeah, spironolactone also has a problem. It's a potassium sparing.
Yeah, you can have hyperpotassemia and then cardiac arrhythmias.
Yes.
But it's milder. It's like you have less risk taking this one than other diuretics.
Yes. Also, the thiazide is a bit better than furosemide.
Yeah.
Furosemide is a very, very aggressive one.
Yeah, it is.
I think it's the worst you can use.
Yeah, I think so too, yeah.
So if you use, you must put beside some potassium, like supplements, and the caffeine. That's enough diuretic.
Yeah, and
I say in most of the cases, a diuretic it's not gonna be the solution if you are not shredded.
Yeah, like it was I was going to say, like if you're shredded enough and you don't have any hormonal issues like aldosterone or estrogen issues, if you're shredded enough, you don't need any diuretics because you're shredded, you don't hold water.
Yes. So that's how a couple of athletes are trying to overcome the problem. They are not enough shredded. Let's take diuretics.
Yeah.
That's not gonna solve your problem.
It won't at all.
It's gonna be even worse.
Yeah, it can make it worse.
Because you will look flat and watery.
And it's horrible.
Yeah.
It fucks up everything. Other health issues you have in mind? Because like for females, taking like TRT and GH or some primo, it like you won't really have health issues because anyway, if you're taking TRTs because you have low testosterone from the start. So like, okay, testosterone is going to suppress a bit your endogenous one, even with TRT, but anyway, you are low. So it's not really, it's just improving your quality of life, having more testosterone. And then primo, it's a small dose, so it won't really cause any issues. GH, it's a small dose too, so insulin resistance is not a thing.
Yes. So usually the females are not experiencing so many health issues.
Yeah.
Exactly from this consideration that they are not using high dosages.
Yeah.
So in men's also, the problems are coming when dosages are going up. So you will never see somebody experiencing serious health issues at like 250 testosterone with like 200 of masteron. Never.
Yeah.
So they have to be very, very sensitive on something to have issues.
Yeah.
So that's why if you like in normal supraphysiological range, you should not have any health issues, serious health issues. Because like acne or a bit of hair loss, I cannot really call health issue.
Yeah, it's not really health issues. And you can manage, like hair loss, you cannot really do anything. But for acne, you have treatments you can do.
Yeah, you can manage like adding a little bit more masteron.
Also.
So maybe.
Yeah. And you can go for Roaccutane. And with Roaccutane,
yes. Roaccutane it's not something what is working for everyone and can have some serious side effects.
Yeah, with high doses, but with low doses, it's pretty mild.
Oh, yeah. Low doses, it's okay. But low doses, it may not be enough to counter effects.
Yeah, it depends. It depends on
it's very subjective, depends.
Yeah, it really depends. I was thinking about something like mental health issues like depression and stuff. Like, for example,
yes. You have touched something.
Or aggressivity or things like that.
Yes, Trenbolone can have these problems.
Yeah.
So can cause these problems like aggressivity, exactly because it's very, very androgenic.
Yeah.
So it's androgenic, but it's less androgenic actually than testosterone.
It is.
So you may experience this aggressivity much often from testosterone only than from Trenbolone.
Yeah.
So this, how they used to say, tram face, that's, you have two faces, one with tren and one without. Yes, but this gonna come out only on the subjects which one are like naturally aggressive. So if you aggressive like person,
it will
With
be
Trenbolone, you will be much more aggressive.
yeah.
But if you don't, that won't make you an animal.
For sure, yeah.
But depression, yes,
Depression,
absolutely,
yeah.
absolutely. So use of the AAS, any of them can cause depression, especially if you are going blast and PCT.
Yeah.
While you blasting, you are superhuman. You like what you see in the mirror. You like your muscles. You big, you muscular, you strong. Once you start the PCT, you will start to lose a little bit of the hardness, a little bit of body weight. You will see yourself more skinny. And there problems will come, like you won't be satisfied how you look. You won't be satisfied with your strength.
Yeah.
And you will say, okay, let's go again.
And it crashes your testosterone. So you will feel mentally super bad.
Absolutely. And if you don't know how to manage with this androgen to estrogen ratio, and during a cycle, you will experience like libido issues, erectile function issues, that will kill you.
Yeah.
So that will make you go crazy.
Yeah, for sure.
Like you are taking all the testosterone in the world, you are still unable to do something.
Yeah.
That's not something you want to experience.
For sure. Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Yes. Trenbolone can cause this effect of erectile dysfunction because it suppresses the test and the DHT levels, also lower the estrogen and suppress the LH and FSH. So if you are not taking testosterone as a base and you take Trenbolone, as many of the guys are doing, they will 100% experience this kind of problems.
Mm-hmm.
So in any case, testosterone must be a base.
For sure, yeah.
And also another issue is the sleep quality.
Oh, with Tren. Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So there is a way to modulate this problem. Melatonin, 3 to 10 milligrams can be an aid for Tren-induced sleep issues. Maybe it's not gonna be enough 10 milligrams. You can go for 15.
Yeah, to help you fall asleep.
Yes, absolutely.
And magnesium might be also to have a better quality.
Of course, all these recovery pathways like magnesium, ashwagandha. You should avoid to take the vitamin Bs in the evening.
Okay, why?
They will energize you.
Okay.
So they will ruin up a little bit your sleep. So all the Bs should be taken in the morning.
Okay.
The zinc also can be something to add in the evening.
But zinc, I would say, try to avoid like during or around the meal because absorption is better when you have an empty stomach. So,
yes.
Like for example, if you eat your dinner quite late, maybe just avoid taking zinc right after because the absorption won't be great.
Yeah, absolutely. Usually I recommend to eat your last meal at minimum 1 hour before you go to sleep.
Yeah, minimum. Yeah.
So not you just eat and going to bed.
Yeah.
Because your sleep quality will be decreased because GI stress.
Yeah, digestion.
So you are still digesting. You won't sleep well.
Yeah.
But as you said, the magnesium is a very, very good one. Ashwagandha again.
Yeah, and zinc, but just like not around your meals at all.
So not right with your meals.
Yeah.
Even the melatonin is something to take a little bit apart from your meal.
Yeah.
Usually I take the melatonin right before I'm going into bed.
Yeah, like 30 minutes, something like that, just for it to absorb your blood and then...
I have some kind of melatonin that I have to put like
Under the tongue.
sublingual.
Yeah.
So that's absorbing much easier than.
Yeah, I have the same from Geneche.
I don't have it right now here.
It's like
It's from
with the-
Jamieson. It's from Jamieson.
Okay.
It's something from the pharmacy.
Yeah, me too. Yeah.
Something very simple. All right. Do you have anything? So the thyroid function.
Oh
we
yeah.
didn't-
Yeah.
So the trembolone can alter a little bit the thyroid function. So if there is using of trembolone without testosterone, T3 and T4 may be decreased.
Yeah.
But if the testosterone is present alongside the tren, increase of T4 into T3 can be increased.
Okay. So you increase the conversion.
Yes.
So you have more free T3.
Yes.
So increase metabolism.
Of course.
Okay.
And also, it's something that I say until you're not an IFBB pro, you should not play with it, taking T4, T3.
Yeah.
You can really mess up with them.
You can, yeah. You can.
So until it's not a must, try to stay away.
Yeah. Or like if you see a lot of down regulation of your T3 and T4, maybe at the end of prep, for example, maybe you can
Yes.
do it. Which is like replacement therapy, not
Yes,
more.
of course. Yeah, you can go for a clinical dosage.
Yeah. Just staying in the normal range.
Yes. Yeah, that's something fine to do it. So I do not see anything else.
Yeah, I think we talked about everything because so like PEDs or AAAs, you can have increased hematocrit, so more red blood cell, because it will increase synthesis of red blood
Yes.
cell. So your blood will be thicker, it can cause issue with
Yes,
hypertension.
that's why it's a way to go for all the bodybuilders. Go and donate.
Yeah,
Blood.
yeah.
That's a way you can manage a little bit this blood thickness.
Yeah. So you give a bit
And
of red blood
also,
cells.
and also stay hydrated. Very, very well hydrated.
Yeah.
And also the Boldenon has this capacity to make your blood even more thicker.
So even worse.
Yeah, it's even worse. So it's one of the worst from this viewpoint.
Yeah. So for the blood, you have increased hematocrit and increased blood lipids.
Yes.
Also for the heart, you can have cardiac remodeling, so hypertrophy of your heart muscle should cause some issues.
Of course.
With
Yes.
time, and also
With time. Yes,
calcification.
with time. It's not an immediately problem, but with time.
Yeah, and calcification in your heart too. So
Yes.
after you can have heart attack at one point. This is a last effect at the end.
Yeah, it's a last effect, but it's not a very, very rare one.
No, many deaths occurred because
Yes.
of that.
So in bodybuilding, I can say it's the most often cause.
Yeah. But it will occur like at 40 or 50 years old. So usually like when they are in their peak, they don't care. And then
Yes.
later they are like, fuck, I have heart issues now.
Yes.
So it's something which should be monitored.
Yes. Last week, somebody sent me an interesting document. So I went over the current cycle of Dallas McCarver. That he was running the cycle before he died.
Okay.
I will send it to you later. I cannot believe that.
It was crazy.
So there are some crazy numbers. Absolutely crazy numbers and crazy compounds that I don't see why you as a bodybuilder, for example, why you should use like erythropoietin.
As a bodybuilder,
As a bodybuilder.
what's the point?
I cannot understand it.
Like if you're doing a marathon or like
A
endurance
marathon,
sports,
like you're a cyclist or
Tour de
something to
France,
endurance.
something like
Or why to use it over 150 units of growth hormone a day.
What?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So I was like, man, no. If bodybuilding is about this, I'm quit. I will quit now, right now.
Yeah, what's the point? It's not about killing yourself.
No. And over 3 grams of testosterone. There are some crazy numbers. I will show you to see. Some crazy numbers.
How can you use 3 grams of testosterone? Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, for sure.
Or like 2 grams of thread.
What?
Man. For what?
It's absolutely crazy.
Yeah, this is like you want to die.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just that. Like, it's just that.
And right after that, I went over John Jewett's last Olympia prep. And I was like, man, not even 10%.
Oh, yeah, for sure. But, like, you have also genetic freaks. They can just take a little bit and have great effects from it.
Yes, absolutely.
So, but this is why they are the best in the game, is because they have so much range with drugs.
Yes.
They can progress so much more than just other people.
And that's why I said pull the lab works first. See what is your natural one.
Yeah.
And go step by step. And don't copy the stack of anybody.
For sure, yeah. It's the worst mistake ever.
Yes. The worst and the more often mistake.
Yeah.
If he did it, for me, will be also good. No.
Yeah, it doesn't work. It doesn't work this way. So yeah, I think like that's it. Or like, do you see any other health issues? Because there are many, and also depends if it's high or low hormone concentrations. But like, yeah, I think we talked about hormonal issues in depth. Also about water retention, insulin resistance, brain toxicity, renal toxicity.
Yeah, I see. We covered everything.
Yeah, I think we did. Like also mental health, fertility, acne, hair loss, like more aesthetic things, liver stress, cardiac stress.
To be honest, I don't see anything else.
Yeah, I think we covered most of it.
Yeah, so as a personal advice to anybody they are considering using AAS, don't copy the stack of anybody. Go for your own. If you don't understand, don't try to figure out. Ask. There are plenty of coaches. Try one. Which one is not trying to sell you anything?
Yeah.
Try to find one who will try to keep you on the lowest dosages and follow the blood works.
Yeah. And learn about it, because even if you have a coach, don't just blindly trust your coach.
That should be something that you should not consider it using AAS without knowing about.
But so many are doing that.
Yeah, of course.
They're just taking. The coach is giving something, they're taking that.
Yeah, coach, say it, I will take it.
So they have to learn, they have to ask questions.
That's what I always ask all my athletes. Guys, try to understand what we do here.
Yeah.
So don't just be like a robot. Like, I write or I say, you do it.
Yeah.
Ask me. Try to understand your body.
Absolutely.
Ask me why this, why that, why not that.
Yeah.
And try to figure out by yourself. And always, when it's about to collaborate with somebody, be honest and give the most honest feedback you can.
Oh yeah, it's so fucking important.
So never do that. Oh, I'm fine, I'm okay, and you are dying.
Yeah.
No, be honest. Say, man, I'm not okay. These are my problems. Solve it. If I don't know about your problems, I cannot solve it.
Yeah. Yeah, how can we work as coaches if we don't know anything about
Yes, of
how
course.
athletes is?
So don't try to hide anything. So, as I said once to my athlete, you have to be more honest with me than with your wife.
Yeah.
There you can hide something. With me, you cannot hide anything.
Yeah, because it's very important. Like, it's about health.
Yeah, it's about health.
It's really important. And we talked about a lot of health issues coming with PEDs.
Yes.
And even without PEDs, like even that, if you compete and you go down to very, very low body fat percentages, you'll have a lot of health issues too. Like hormones are going to be completely shut down. Everything is going to be horrible.
Yes.
So it's important to have a very good coach who knows a lot about the topic and who is going to like work to get you the best health possible and like really knowledgeable, because if not, it can fuck you up.
Yes, absolutely. So what I said before with the wife, that was a joke.
But like,
just to make sure.
We get it, like.
But you get it. So you have to be honest. Because without that, we cannot do anything.
Yeah.
So I'm not gonna know how do you feel, how you are, if you have any issues, especially if you are working like online coaching.
Yeah.
Because if I see you daily in the gym,
yeah, you can see.
Yeah, I can see there are some problems. But if you are working like online coaching, I need the most honest feedback.
Yeah, totally agree.
About the smallest things. Like, I want to know how many times a day you are going to the toilet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you are not going for 3 days in a row, there is an issue.
Oh, for sure.
We have to fix it. So don't tell me after 3 weeks, oh, coach, in the last 3 weeks, I was to the toilet 2 times.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah, absolutely. It's
and this is...
Yeah, go for it.
This is most of them are not thinking about... They are not getting serious.
Yeah, but it's important.
But this is very serious.
If your digestion is off, like it's not okay for your energy, recovery, everything.
Energy, recovery, strength,
performances,
gains,
everything.
Intestines.
Yeah.
Do you have any questions?
Something to add. And you gave a very good example. If your coach is IFBB, it doesn't mean it's a good coach.
Absolutely. Okay, they have the experience.
Yeah.
But it doesn't mean they totally understand
how it works and stuff like that.
How it works.
Yeah.
Maybe they will copy the stack. They did it before, but you cannot just trust anybody because it's an IFBB pro.
Yeah, for sure. And a good coach can be a good athlete, but can also not compete and still be a good coach.
Of course. Of course.
Like this is
of
important.
Course. So right now, I saw an Instagram story with Terence Ruffin.
Okay.
He's actually doing the G3 University.
Yeah, I've seen that too. Yeah.
So he is a very, very high level athlete.
Yeah.
And he still has to learn something.
Yeah. And it's constant learning.
Yeah. So they have to think about this. If Ruff has to learn something,
yeah.
We all should.
For sure. Yeah, we all should. Yeah.
All right.
Good. That's it?
I think that's it.
Okay, good. Yeah, I think we covered everything in detail.
Yes. If we have missed something and we're going to figure out, we're going to come back with the second episode.
We're going to come back. For sure.
For sure.
Great.
If you agree, I would like to come back with a second episode like a couple of weeks later.
Yeah. It would be a pleasure.
About exactly how to build up something.
Such as?
Like step by step.
Like to start like with cycle enhancement or things like that?
Yes.
Okay.
So like step by step, talking about the why to and about why not to.
Okay.
Taking all the compounds they are in the game.
Yeah, we can do
one
that
by
sure.
one.
Yeah, I'm interested.
Okay?
Yeah, let's do that.
All right. So actually, I have a very, very long PDF about.
Okay, so you're already prepared.
So I'm actually working on it. I have a couple of more compounds to edit.
Okay.
So we can do that. That's going to be an interesting one.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm very interested for that. Yeah.
All right.
Let's do that. Well, thank you. Thank you for coming in. And
thank you for the invitation.
We'll do another episode and many other episodes, I think, because we have many things to talk about later.
All right.
So, yeah, thank you a lot. I will put all your information in the description with like your Instagram account. So if people want to contact you, they can contact you on Instagram. So I will put your handle so they can just go to it directly.
All right.
And yeah, thank you so much. And
thank you too. Have a great evening.
You too.